I'm going to make sure that I share this on my Facebook, if that's even necessary. Hopefully, I'm live on both Facebook and YouTube, but I'm not sure that I am. There we go. Cool. Sweet. So, hopefully, you guys are all doing well. It's a nice day here, except for the wind storm that keeps coming through. This morning, I posted into this group called Siskiyou County Connections, which is just a local group around us that is pretty much like a free-for-all. And so I've been posting scriptures and stuff in there. And I posted, I know that it's hard to accept the Bible, the Aaronite Torah, that you were raised to believe is the true word of God, is in fact the words of men, and that some of those men were influenced not by God, but by demonic entities. Yet, that is the honest truth. If I sound rude in this assertion or disrespectful, know this. That scripture has been used to keep women down, so down that most do not believe that they have a soul or deserve equal rights with men, and has also been used to support the wars of tyrants, slavery, black magic animal sacrifice rituals, and the right of the idle rich to abuse the working poor. That is a quote from Yeshua from the Holy Godspell in the Holy Megillah. This is translated by Dave Greenleaf, available at Essene.org. But anyways, I made a little meme out of it, like out of one of the parts of it. And someone commented, I just thought it would be kind of funny to share with you, saying, "What a total crackpot. So did God write her version," which it's not my version at all, "or men? The Bible basically copies the Torah for the Old Testament and uses the teachings of Jesus given to us, by the way, mostly of the apostles for the New Testament. I doubt that anyone in our area has ever heard of this false doctrine being perpetrated by fools. To have a woman post this while claiming the real word of God keeps women down just shows her inability to think for herself. Perhaps she needs a man to help her understand." It's always really funny when people like write their, emphasis on these words, like they're screaming certain things, but it's just kind of really sad that these are the battles that we're having to face, essentially. Obviously, a lot of people will see social media as a distraction, and for the vast majority it is and definitely can be. But it's also a tool that we can use for a purpose, for our higher purpose. We're living at a time that we have this ability, this amazing technology that people from all over the world can literally watch this video right now and connect with us. So it's really exciting, and this stuff can be used for good or evil, obviously. And yeah, so as far as the Holy Megillah goes, these are absolutely inspired words. Once you actually start to read them with spiritual discernment, you will see very quickly that no human put these together. No human wrote this. This is inspired word. The Bible, that's where I came from. That's what I grew up reading. In contrast, it is completely lifeless and just sad. It's like the verse in here from Yeshua says, it's been used to support the wars of tyrants, slavery, black magic animal sacrifice rituals, and the right of the idle rich to abuse the working poor. These teachings are definitely life-changing. So anyways, I just thought it was kind of interesting that this person kind of popped up to say that. And obviously the powers that be have made the Bible their mainstream, it's a bestseller. I understand full well how the history and all of the scrolls are, they just make it seem like it's a flawless translation, the King James Version, and all of this stuff. When you read the Megillah, it talks about how the Cainites, the servant of, ultimately Satan, Cain is being the spawn of Satan in that he had Adam rape Eve and then raised Cain for his own. Their teachings and those of the Aaronites were the ones that were essentially turned into the mainstream Bible, and the teachings of the Nazarenes that actually uplift and purify were rejected for multiple reasons. One of them being that it doesn't profit the powers that be, whether they're the religious people or the government, to have these teachings that set people free, that don't have just the same weight that the church has these days. So obviously the powers that be, we're going to choose scriptures that are corrupt. They're going to choose the scriptures that don't uplift the soul. So anyways, making a airtight, history and saying that all the translations are matching the Dead Sea Scrolls and all this stuff is part of the deception as well. So many people consider themselves truthers, but they don't question their religion. And I understand that this programming goes really deep. It's some of the deepest stuff, like the flat earth and all the other conspiracies, I guess, in comparison to questioning your religion and how you view your relationship with God and Goddess and your salvation, and what you believe that salvation depends on, is really going to shape who you are and how you act and all these things. And for a lot of people, it's really hard to question, right? If you question the Bible, then you're questioning God's infallible word, and then, you're going to be in big trouble, and God's an angry, jealous, wrathful God, so you better be careful, right? It's definitely uplifting to be away from that. I don't know. I can't praise the Megillah enough for its positive impact that it's had on my life. As far as this person was saying that I doubt that anyone in our area that has ever heard of this doctrine. Well, because the Megillah is heavily suppressed, like I was saying, the powers that be have standard operating procedure of hiding the truth and then mixing the truth with lies to have all these different mainstream religions that essentially all have so many of the same teachings, but little differences here and there to keep us divided and conquered, right? In the end times, there are multiple different groups and people that believe that there's going to be more scriptures that come to light, and these prophecies are right on point with what we see that are happening in the world, that is happening right in the world right now. So regardless of anything else, I definitely think it's smart to heed the warning. And when a text has such specific warnings about like AI and the takeover and something that's so relevant, I think that at least it would be wise to consider reading the rest of the text. People want to talk about biblical prophecy, but the powers that be literally have spun that narrative to suit their agenda, and they get people to believe in that agenda and go along with it and support it, to manipulate it. And it definitely leaves out a lot of the details. Really, really interesting stuff, like in the book of Enoch, and talking about how humans would link their bodies with the AI, and then how other countries would actually rise up and attack America, and basically giving us prophecies of like that was already what the hidden powers wanted. They wanted this war to happen so that they could get rid of, Trump and all the other puppets that are on the surface, and the dark leaders that are in the shadows could emerge, and we'll see what they do after that, right? Anyways, it's also just funny about this person saying that I need a man to help me understand, because I believe that men and women are complementary we're supposed to be complementary of each other, and there's been a lot of agendas to make women look really stupid, and also for females to dumb themselves down, for female intuition to be suppressed on purpose and demonized. Oh, you think that you're sick because you have demons? You're a dumb woman. You don't know what we're talking. You don't even know what's going on. This is a chemical issue. Come over here into our lab. Let's give you the right pill. Let's do all of this stuff. Don't listen to that girl. She's really stupid, right? That's how it is across the board. And there's just so many different ways that these agendas have just been fueled through various means, right? And even just playing dumb. So it's really frustrating, and I hope that people are starting to wise up and not discount someone, especially over what sex they are. Like, you never know, even the age, right? Children, especially when children are born to parents that are purifying and under these very spiritual situations, they're going to come out knowing a lot more. They're going to be very spiritually advanced and knowledgeable. And if you're going to say, oh, well, you're a child and you're a female child, I'm going to reject your wisdom. Well, you're the fool, wisdom and intelligence, it doesn't, you shouldn't judge it by the outer appearance. You should actually take heed and take what it says and then go from there to judge it. So hello everybody in the live chat. David D says awesome. Kyle Smith says 2 Facebook lives in a day. Woohoo. Yeah, I actually kind of forgot that it was Wednesday, so I almost didn't go live, but I wanted to have the Wednesday 3:30 time to kind of do the live chat and focus on what other conspiracy topics that I don't usually get to. I know that my whole awakening has been more focused on the spiritual aspect. Even like when I found out about flat earth, I was like, okay, like, let's move on. Like, I didn't spend like hours and hours and hours and hours like asking for scientific evidence and watching all these videos and like whatever. It was just like, oh, that intelligent design, that makes so much more sense. Like, I'm good on that. Show me the teachings of Christ. Let's get into the real things that actually matter a little bit more than, I shouldn't say that matter more, but if you could only know like the difference of knowing God and Goddess and like your salvation and all of that versus understanding that you live on a flat plane in an enclosed realm. Like, if it only could be the two, I would definitely side with knowing God and Goddess and all of that, which ultimately would lead to more wisdom, because they don't want their children to be left in the dark, right? They're going to be, you feed into that and you go to them for more wisdom and you ask for it and then they give it to you. They want us as their children to grow and learn and expand in wisdom and knowledge and to become better. So, woohoo! Nice. They call Chicago the Windy City, but have you ever been to Weed, California? David says they are really pushing the war between men and women. It's demonic in origin. Exactly. And your other comment that had to do with that says, it's Satan's agenda to dumb women down and keep them out of the priesthood. A female spiritual leader, Yaira, is never Satan's desire. Well, we even see in the Megillah that it says that if the world would listen to female intuition, just like Adam listened to Eve's intuition, then the world would not listen to Satan's voice. So it's pretty interesting that would be used essentially to demonize women and keep us down. And I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, woe is us, like now I'm a feminist or any of that. Like, the pendulum has swung in the wrong way, and in the toxic masculinity, we've gone all the way over to this side. And now the powers that be are trying to swing it on the other side, and it's just like completely unbalanced. And each of these opposites make the opposite sex dislike the opposite sex more and be repulsed even more, push away even more, become less of who they are even more, instead of us realizing that the opposite sex is our complementary, we're complementary equals. We should be lifting each other up and all trying to become the best versions of ourselves possible, as hard as it can be, believing the best in the opposite sex. We might be surrounded by, thankfully I'm not, I'm just saying that a lot of people are surrounded by the opposite sex that just is discouraging, and the dating scene's bad or whatever. A lot of people feel this way at this point in time. But the powers that be, these parasites want us to lose hope. And I promise you that there is still hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and you also get to be that light as well. So you stepping up and being that light helps other people of the opposite sex and the people of your sex as well see that and become better, because that's what we all need. We all need more hope and light, and we can be that for each other. So David, as you mentioned, you wanted access to the original text. So are you planning to learn Nassery and Hebrew? I would definitely love to. And who knows what the future has in store. I mentioned earlier, that I got a really positive email from the translator, and there might be some door that opens there for learning it from the translator firsthand. So that would be really, really cool. I don't know what the future holds, but like I said, I'm really glad that God and Goddess answer prayers, and yeah. David says, from Eve, Satan and his evil one have struggled to corrupt women. Female intuition is too strong. They know when an act is wrong. At a deeper level, they know. So in the story of Adam and Eve, I know this was taken off of YouTube and Facebook. Sorry, the stream. I don't know, whatever. Basically, the evil one got Adam and Eve to start killing animals and eating them. And at the end of the day, Eve was just really not feeling it. She was very, very saddened. And she vowed to never kill again and never eat animals. Whereas Adam, on the other hand, felt more powerful. And those demons were the demons that can prey on our ego and our all sorts of things, right? Whatever the text talks about, how it's like your heart will beat with adrenaline and like you'll salivate. Like they're able to give us all of these feelings and mess with us on a physical level to fuel us doing those things that they want us to do. So they were able to fuel Adam's, hunger for power and strength and domination and all of that. Whereas Eve wasn't having it, and it ended up that her and their son Abdiel were able to talk to Adam and explain that this evil one was the one that had tricked them, and that eating animals was wrong. And it just ended up being a really, really, really great story. And it shows that even no matter, how many animals that you've killed, no matter how far off the path that you've gotten, as soon as you are feeling true remorse and contrition, as soon as you are like, okay, I'm not doing that ever again, and I feel so bad, that forgiveness and love is right there waiting for us. It's not condemnation. It's not bad feelings and guilt and shame. It's an uplifting feeling of like, let me take that guilt and burden off of you, because that's what you put on yourself by doing whatever act that you did. You did the bad act, and then because you have a conscience, then you that guilt and shame just burdens up. Oh no, your viewers cannot see you. Click show on screen. That was weird. Okay. Found it much easier to corrupt Adam. Pretty quickly, Adam began to enjoy hunting, killing, and eating flesh. Man is easier for Satan to corrupt. Well, yeah, I mean, we all also have our own strengths and weaknesses as well. All of us have different temptations and different ability to resist and not resist as well. So it's definitely not to demonize males as well. We all struggle with things. So I definitely do not want to be seen as fueling the hatred of males or supporting the pendulum swinging on the other side, where it's like females dominating males and like we can do everything that you can do and better, and like just this competition and even worse, the degradation, like, oh, you kept us from voting and suppressed us and all this, and like trying to retaliate and stuff. I do not support that at all. That's truly evil. And it's only going to make everything worse. Like, it's like we're, instead of this beautiful spiral of two souls dancing together and pulling each other up, which is what they describe in the dance of Jah and Jala, is that Jah loves Jala so much that he gives her the final nod, but it's only like a slight nod, and it gives this a spiral upward perpetual motion. On the flip side, the powers that be are trying to have this spiral downward motion where, you know, you become worse, I become worse. Like, think about how it used to be before television and pornography and all this stuff, and like how they have used all of these things to drive the wedge and make males, you know, give them this idea of pornography, and then the females are trying to compete with, live up to, blah blah blah, and then it's just this downward spiral, and then it's like, oh, why are females acting like this? And then it's like, well, you wanted this 10 minutes ago. This is what you're, you know, watching late night when no one's watching, like no one's at home. You need to make up your minds. Ooh, that's dusty. Ooh. So yeah, the point is that we all need to choose activities and become better versions of ourselves and better lights in the dark for others. David, he says, thought YouTube disconnected, but it looks like your side having connection issues. Yeah. Am I good now? I'm not sure if it is working. So, okay. It looks like I am good now. So I'm not sure why that jumped off of there. But anyways, yes. What I was going to just briefly mention in passing regarding another truther topic is flat Earth. On August 19th, I'll be going on Mark Sargent's show to talk about flat Earth and hopefully share the Megillah. Mark has a lot bigger audience than I do, so I would like to go on there and also say thanks for waking me up to flat Earth. We don't really choose who wakes us up, and it's just really cool to actually like know whoever woke you up, and I don't know, it's a cool situation. So I'm hoping that I can get on there and share the truth of our reality. That'll be August 19th at 7 p.m. Mount Shasta time, so we'll see how that goes. Duty says seems stable now. Sweet. Okay. Also, they want us to spiral downward so they can trap and control our souls. The upward spiral is back up to heaven above. Exactly. And if you missed yesterday's stream, I would definitely encourage you to jump on there. We talk about the deep sleep and essentially the three forms of salvation, and how, you know, you're either going up or you're going down. You can go down into the deep sleep where you can't even animate a bug. And it's just not a good situation because you'll just sink lower and lower until you become essentially the living manure of the next realm that is created, the next explosion of the new world that is to come. So sweet. I already said that. Cool. Yeah, it's really interesting how the Megillah just talks about the mother ovum in the cosmic school. So it'll be cool to be able to tie that into some flat Earth topics, and we'll see how that goes. I would love to have in the future other people on my channel and have, you know, interviews and all of that stuff. So we'll see what the future holds on that. Summer tends to be my busy period, so we'll see. David says, will the translator allow you to create and publish a video based on the Megillah? Well, that is an interesting question. I kind of did think about I had mentioned earlier about the creation video and having help with Mark Sargent, how to, create that with AI. And when all this copyright stuff came up, I was thinking that I should probably ask and see what his opinion about it is as well. So I'm not really sure what he will allow or not. I think that going forward, once he understands more of my heart and the abilities that I have and the technical side of things that we can use, technology to really spread the word and open people's minds. So yeah, maybe that will open some doors to get that going. I don't know. But I do know that at the end of the month, they're having a video shoot afterwards of a, Christ and Miriam Godspell. I actually don't know all the details, and I also wouldn't want to spoil it if I did. But they're shooting an actual video based off of the Megillah, and so that'll be really cool to see what comes from that. I know that they do have some of their own music and stuff, but I'm also kind of putting together my own from the mantras and prayers in the Megillah. So yeah, I'm just really excited about everything that's going to happen, despite all the drama that has recently happened. I'm definitely looking at all of that as learning lessons and ways to improve myself and how I interact with people, and how just a test of my willingness to forgive and love even in really hard situations. So yeah, I'm just really excited about everything. David says, it's crazy that we just went through the sixth trumpet, definitely. And we talked a little bit earlier about the Neuralink stuff and how far along that has come. I still didn't finish the video, which I intend to do, to see kind of how the Elon Musk crowd is presenting all of this technology. I meant to mention earlier in my video that there totally is advanced technology that we can use to help heal us, without being invasive. Anytime that you start putting things into the body or taking things out, like, you're gonna have problems. This is a completely enclosed system. God has made this perfect. Like, the design is flawless. Anything that you add to or take away is going to cause problems. And that's one of the reasons why, as soon as you are born, they're trying to, inject things and mess up all of those systems, because those systems work perfectly. If you have a baby and you just let that baby breathe fresh air, pure water, pure food, mama's breast milk, extended breastfeeding until they just eat fruit and vegetables, watch out. Like, this world is not going to be able to contain that kind of light. So that's the kind of stuff that they have to do, just constantly trying to, attack the body. So it'll be interesting what kind of other technologies that they present to us. But like I was saying, even things like the med beds or different technologies that will help align your vibration and frequencies, your chakras. We really need to just return to Eden, first of all, with what we're eating. And that's going to clear up so many of the problems that humans are facing alone. But then once we start implementing herbs and rocks, crystals, whatever, you don't even really need the advanced stuff unless you have cases of people that, have serious injuries in accidents. So a lot is predicted to happen from now until the last trumpet. This timeline is going to accelerate faster and faster now. Well, yeah, it's definitely been, hey, Mark, how's it going? Mark White says, great to see you. It's definitely been a slow progression in even some of the Neuralink and other stuff. But I think that once they get past the trials and more and more people are talking about it and doing it, it is going to really take off. And it's not to be scared of, but we definitely should be like cautious and worried, and we should be warning people that it is coming. Not just warning them, but telling them the dangers of merging with AI, that is actually the plan of the Dark One, to enslave us, to enslave our souls, to drag us down. Um, we need to tell people that we're immortal, that there's nothing to fear with death, that this is a physical, temporary situation, and that nothing that they offer us, nothing that they threat, is going to be worth joining their side. It's really, really important. And if you didn't watch the other video with the prophecies, it is just so beautiful how they say that the prophecies, nothing is written in stone. The trumpets don't have to sound. If everyone just starts spreading the word and warning others, we can stop all of these evil things from happening. So hopefully you're willing to speak up and tell the world. Kyle Smith says, eating a raw garlic clove on empty stomach in the morning will wipe out any parasites. Ooh, a raw garlic clove. I'm not sure if I could handle that. I would say add agave to soothe the burn, because honey is stolen from bees. But yeah, that would be really, really intense, and I can understand why parasites would not like that. They definitely say to, for parasite cleanses to, go towards the bitter stuff that the parasites don't like instead of anything sweet. There's so many parasites in all the things, like all the processed foods and just different things that fuel these parasites, trying to control us. The order of the parasites we literally learn about in the Megillah before all of this mess that we're in now. They were still trying to corrupt the world and infest and parasite off of our life force energy, exactly. It's just your life force energy, because they're taking that will to live. As you get further and further down into darkness, they feed on that energy, and it just empowers it, enlivens them. It's truly evil. So yeah, doing parasite cleanses and trying to, get as close to God's creation as possible is definitely important. David says, how difficult you think it will be to convert people around the world to the fleshless diet? Well, I think there's multiple different approaches. So we take them all. There's a lot of different activist groups that are raising awareness, which is really, really helpful, because that's kind of what we just need, is that truth to shine in the darkness. But we also need to do it with a loving, kind manner. I know more than anybody the carrot and the stick side, and being mean and all of that stuff, and being angry. And I don't know, I'm just seeing it now as in a different light. And it's, when I see other people trying to use the stick, I'm just like, oh no, that's not gonna fix the situation, So on one hand, sharing the truth, but on the other, as far as the stick goes, I think that moving towards having the powers that be actually, those spots of power taken by good souls, that will put laws into place that protect the animals. Obviously, the pre-vegans will see this as a restriction of their freedom, but really it's a protection of the freedom of the animals. Their freedoms matter as well, and we should be protecting them. So making laws to protect them is really important. And so I think that both of those things, as well as providing free food, that is my goal. It's still my goal to have free vegan food, especially starting here in Mount Shasta, just 24/7 free vegan food. Everything's free, and then it'll be like, they're just going to be just too many good reasons just to eat the free food, and it'll be perfect. So hopefully you guys are all on board with that, and even spreading the word about the return to the fleshless diet, and how these parasites can literally weaken our aura, weaken our life force energy, and control us through the fleshless diet, or through the non-fleshless diet. And getting control is by returning to eating. DVD says you've used the stick and seen what it can do. Now you're trying the carrots. An understanding, compassionate, loving approach. Yes, definitely. And it's definitely a test. But realistically, I look back and going vegan, the Essene Christ was the one who made me vegan in the first place. And his example, basically, I just haven't heeded because he also was very compassionate when it would say, and he looked on them with compassion because he knew that their heart was darkened by, the evil one or whatever. It was always this compassion and understanding and always knowing what the right thing to say was. So, yeah. The Gospel of the Holy 12, like I said before, is available online as well for free. And I think it's really great, that and the Essene Humane Gospel of Christ and the Essene Gospel of Peace, Book 1, minus all of these texts, minus any of the enema stuff, and all of that I support. I don't believe that God or Goddess want us to put anything up our bums, so I'm going to stand by that. Wisdom, you just need to not put anything in, then you won't have any problems, and no one will be telling you that you need to do any unnatural things to cleanse yourself. So anyways, I am probably gonna get off of here soon because I forgot that I was even supposed to be here today, and it's kind of been I need to get my head on straight and take some time to recuperate after all of this stuff that's like, even the drama that's been going on with all of this like accuser nonsense has been very draining, and having that good email this morning was just really empowering, and so I'm excited for that. Are you planning to attend the Nazarene gathering up in Oregon? I do not plan to attend at this point in time. At first I was planning to go, and then all the stuff happened with the accuser, and then so I said I wasn't going to go. Maybe it might just be better next year, especially if the accuser won't be there. Obviously, I'm at a point where I'm going to be compassionate and kind to the accuser no matter what. And just try to become my best self no matter what no matter the energy that other people come at me or whatever they hold towards me. I'm just going to try to carry myself to the best of my abilities and not work on that. So yeah, we'll see. I do plan to have an Essene gathering in Mount Shasta in the future, not just the church, but I was originally planning on having one in September, but I put those plans on hold, and probably better that happened because of all of this drama and stuff anyways. But there's a lot that I definitely plan on having here in the future because this is where the church should be. So what? How's it going? How's it going? Hey, easier than who? I'm not really sure what you are talking about with that, but I was just saying that I was about to hop off of here and get some other things done and probably go and meditate and just, center myself. But that being said, I will be on here tomorrow for peace meditation at noon, and I hope that you have a wonderful evening. May God and the Goddess